Crossroads Church in Greenville. And Matthew, one of the reasons actually that we met you from before was because of the ministry that you have co-founded called Rescue the Girl. Now, so you're a youth pastor, but you're also like almost like a or would you be considered like a missions minister? Maybe not at your own church, but
yeah, I mean, I think we're all missionaries.
Sure.
But actually, the Rescue the Girl is an extension of Crossroads Church in Greenville. It's a ministry that's birthed out of there, and it's also an extension of Chi Alpha. Chi Alpha is a Christian fellowship on the campus of Texas A&M. One of the other co-founders has had a lot to do with this. In fact, he's chilling with us today in here. Is the director of Chi Alpha there at Texas A&M Commerce Campus.
So you've got a couple of really cool areas that you're able to kind of branch out into. Now, did the youth pastorship come first before Rescue the Girl?
Absolutely, yeah. And our youth were involved in actually helping the events that we put on originally May 7th that I was on the interview for.
Yeah.
Before they helped us out with that, and several of them have really stepped up on this issue.
Now, this has to do with the slave trade, the human slave trade. And I know that one of the things that you had told us before was that there's more slaves now than there ever has been before in history.
That's right. And people, you couldn't say that enough because it's just too hard to believe.
Yeah.
We're so progressed and civilized, and yet the truth is there are more slaves in the world today than in the entire history of the world, and specifically, definitely, even at the height of the transatlantic slave trade. And so, yeah, this has been called the #1 humanitarian crisis. I mean, there's many pressing issues for sure, but when you look at the facts that now, these are figures that are very conservative because you can't track people that don't have identities, okay?
Right.
Even conservative figures, human trafficking, the buying and selling of human beings, has now surpassed drugs as the #1 illegal moneymaker in the world. This is big business. And the reality is, on the conservative figures, they say 27 million. Some estimate that we're talking 500 million in the world. There's no way to really know. That's one of the things that makes it hard. But what we are able to know, and the statistics that are out there, there's 27 million conservatively slaves in the world. 10 million of those 27 million are in one country, and that's India.
And so you guys, Rescue the Girl I know that you guys are working against the slave trade all over the world, of course, but India is a big deal for you guys. Tell me a little bit about why that's the case.
Well, first of all, I want to. One of the reasons is because we believe in using the creative arts to help rescue girls from the slave trade. We believe in the power of the creative arts and media to help inspire other people and see change happen. One of our contacts in India through ministry was a sister that we met up in at the World Mission Summit in Cincinnati, and what she told us she was doing was something called Rescue Arts. And she said, she says, I'm using the arts to help rescue these girls, literally in India. She's working in India, rescuing girls out of the brothels and helping bring healing and rehabilitation, everything through the creative arts. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's us. And here she's actually on the ground in India. And so there was a number of connections like that. Project Rescue is, her parents actually are founded Project Rescue, which is one of the premier organizations that are actually working directly with the brothels, the brothel owners, negotiating the release of girls, both aftercare and prevention.
Yeah, and that's so important.
It's huge. It's huge. You can't just... Originally, we were naive. We were like, let's just raise enough money to buy a girl's freedom.
Yeah.
But a few things are wrong with that. For one, you're putting more money into the hands of the owners that are going to turn around and buy a younger girl. Really, really sad. So we found out the people that have been at this longest, Project Rescue, actually on the ground there in India, for example, have really... they've worked through a lot of these kinks and finding out how to best deal with it. And it's amazing. They're working with these women to give them trade skills, so some of them can actually get jobs and get out of the debt. And a lot of times it's false debt that keeps them supposedly trapped.
Yeah.
A lot of them are able to be released through negotiations and different things like that. And there's other organizations as well that are doing some incredible work. Free the Slaves is another one. But it's also not just in India. India, we're going to India to shoot a documentary. This whole thing for us has been obviously God-breathed. We started as just some young people that said, you know what, we don't want to be a generation that looks at the problems of the world and just says, wow, look at how bad everything is. We want to say, this can change, and we're going to be part of that change and be part of the solution. So we said, let's just throw an event together. I was on the interview with you. The event was an amazing success. Thank you so much. We had people that drove over an hour and a half to get there. We raised enough money to actually help rescue a couple girls, provide health care, housing, food, discipleship, and if they needed medical attention for a year, 2 girls for a year. That was amazing. We had art where people were interactive with these art pieces, where they were able to write letters to these girls in India. They were able to do some art pieces, and now the doors have opened for us. We're flying to India, and instead of just mailing this stuff, we're going to be able to hand deliver it to representatives over there of U.S. students that are saying, you know what, someone across the world loves you.
And I'm an abolitionist.
And I'm an abolitionist.
Yeah, because you